I was recently interviewing the Panasonic and OM System reps, and they were reminiscing about a time, their favorite time, back in kindergarten, and the game they loved to play most was pretending to be whatever they wanted to be, and now they carry that passion with them to the future. And OM System, they're pretending to be in business, and I totally believe that they have new cameras coming. The OM3 any second now, OM2 at least. Panasonic isn't going to delay the launch of the S1R II. It's totally coming. They're a video-centric camera. They know that. They're not going to release a photo-centric camera before the new video one. There wasn't a meeting about it. Alright fellas, we just got some news. In a popularity contest, we scored 6th out of 6 camera companies, and that is not going to fly around here. We need to wow the audience back. We need to win their hearts. I was thinking, let's release a nice camera. Boss, we have you covered. We've been working on it. The S1R II, the Sony a7S III killer, is going to wow everybody. Low megapixel, video-centric, waveforms, false color, IBIS. We wouldn't believe it. 15 stops of IBIS. 25 stops of dynamic range. 8 megapixel. DGO sensor. Airy color science. Leica lenses. Good luck competing, Mr. Popularity. Okay, I'm sure that would work, but what fun is that, working? Ooh, we lead the industry now. Listen to this one, Johnson. Let's release a photo-centric camera to compete with the Sony a7 IV. I know the 5 exists. And then people will be like, what? Panasonic takes photos now? And will completely rewrite everything everybody loved about us. We'll just invent from scratch. What do you mean? Nobody takes photos with our cameras. We're video-centric. That's our thing. That's why we're good. The best video IBIS, the waveforms, all kinds of codecs, open gate. That's why people shoot the cinema lenses. Anamorphic support. That's what we built our trust on. You can't abandon them now. And taking photos of what? Cats? You're gonna cats? It's a cat show now. No. Johnson, I'll let you in on something. I'm afraid of success. I don't know what I would do with the money, the fame, the popularity. I can't be that guy. I don't want to release something good. People might like it, and then I'll have to shake people's hands. You know I have the finger thing with my crooked fingers. I can't put my hand out there. Not again. In high school, a woman looked at my hand once, and she was like, she frowned. I can't live that again. I'm not gonna release this thing. It's gotta be a photo-centric thing so no one will use it. Boss, I understand. I'm here for you. In fact, put her there. Put her there, friend. Thanks, Johnson. That means a lot to me. You wouldn't believe how long I've been waiting just to shake someone's hand. Oh, it's touching me. It's touching. It's on the outside. That's not. Johnson. Oh, it's not so You're bad. Gross, boss.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So here's the deal. The two underdogs, Panasonic and OM System. They're pretending that they still make cameras. Panasonic has a better front game to it. Like, they almost believe they actually release things. They're two of the slowest companies in the industry, but it doesn't mean they don't produce fantastic results. I could run this whole show on a J85. There was no reason to upgrade from it. So I just want to talk a bit about Panasonic and Olympus and where they stand in the industry, and then we have 3 Panasonic Olympus related questions that we'll get to. So first, Panasonic, sweet spot in my heart. Back in 2017, I was like, I need a mirrorless. Enough of this point and shoot stuff. I decided on the Panasonic J85 because it had everything I needed except autofocus, but I figured manual focus lens, life hack, the ultimate fastest lens. It's basically full frame. It did me okay, but eventually I stopped using it because it was annoying. And then I realized the Panasonic color science once I saw a Canon. I was like, okay, some love it, some hate it. But I don't know what your identity is. Everybody has an identity. Canon color science, Sony autofocus, Fuji vintage touch. This is 1970s cereal, comes with a free box. Olympus wild adventure, weatherproofing. You actually knew something. Is there more companies? I don't think. Nikon. We're almost like Canon, kind of. You have no identity. You're a monkey. I just saw Panasonic S9 for $13.99 Canadian plus tax, and I was like, I've been talked into worse decisions. Like, that could be fun. Little Panasonic stage, super light, Sony ZV-E1 style body with half the specs. Loser. Not even half. I couldn't talk myself into that. Like, why would I buy that? Even though it was like quite the deal. What lens are you gonna get? Panasonic, it's kind of gross. Nobody likes it. There's some fringe society members in my comment section all the time. Panasonic's the best. You have no idea what you're talking about. Open gate. I've seen open gate and it does nothing for anamorphic other than remove the black bars from being fantastic. Like, oh, we can have it wider. And then I can add black bars later and you wouldn't believe I could up and down this video so much. You wouldn't believe the framing differences. Just frame it right the first time, dick. But when I see the latest rumor saying Panasonic's working on a S1R II first, that's the thing they're coming with. Photocentric, it'll do 8K, no one cares. We're waiting for airy level color, dynamic range. That's not gonna do it. That's gonna be crippled as hell. Great photos, no one cares. You're buying a camera to take photos? What is this, 1926? Panasonic went full frame with contrast detect autofocus and no flippy screen. That's where they started for some reason. Eventually they got a budget model that does the flippy screen and phase detect in some frame rates. And like, we've been stuck there in a field of mud and they're not giving us anything new. And to think that they're actually working on some photo device first, you're known for video, that's your thing. You've always been that. People shot the GH4 because it did 4K and it looked quite good, 10-bit, oh my God. Don't quote me on those specs. Who are you though now? You gotta do something already. The S1H2 could be that thing. I have my doubts, but like if it was, then you're back in the game, but that you're pushing that back even further. We're waiting for a Sony a7S III killer already for 2020. People already left Panasonic, but if you push this S1H back another like 9 months or something, it's coming later in the year, 2026, we're all gonna be dead by then. You know it. The tariffs, the taxes. Oh my God, my phone costs $7,000 now. This world is gonna be chimney stacks of smoke and pollution. We're gonna need oxygen masks. So I don't really get where Panasonic's head is at. Make a video-centric device that destroys the ZV-E1 for 5 times the cost, if you don't mind. When it comes to OM System, it's funny that they pretend to be in business because they're clearly not. If you just look at the math, Olympus released the OM1. Even though they were sold, that was their camera. It was already in development for years. It was basically finished. OM System Sushi Company buys Olympus and then releases it, and they still had the Olympus name for whatever trademark contract reasons. They were like, you can't use your name yet. You release this Olympus. So that was the OM1, flagship Olympus camera. Bullshit camera. Not bad though. Good stave. Nice colors. Worse colors. Worse autofocus than the EM1 III. Explain that. You can't. And then we got like what? Nothing for a long time, and they're just releasing like, we updated the button to a different rubber piece and it's the same OM1 specs with firmwares only. Nothing new has come. And we're gonna continue that for a long time. You're pretending to be in business. You don't have anything. You don't have the technology. You guys aren't working on like research and development. That team got fired, if not killed. Micro Four Thirds is also quite irrelevant. I don't see your point. Like, all the Panasonic bodies are huge, like twice the weight of my full frame setups. What is your advantage? I'm not even seeing it anymore, and it's pricey. That brings us to our questions. Dear Camera Conspiracies, please help. For low light concert videography and family portraits and videos with the GH7, I'll pretend you didn't say any of that. Should I go with Leica 10 to 25, 25 to 50, or Sigma 18 to 35 paired with a metabolic speed booster? God, good ton of background separation, artsy focus pulls. God help us. Look, asshole, have you seen the size of those lenses? Why are you in Micro Four Thirds? Oh, look at this zoom. It's heavier than anything full frame could even dream of. Will they have some pop? Probably. It's Leica, come on. Fantastic, look. Like, yeah, okay, do it if you want, but like, why not the primes? Come on, concert. Like, you're asking me, a vlogger who films in a living room with primes all the time, what's the best for something you've never done? I wouldn't know. I've never been to a concert. It's too loud. Give me earplugs if I'm gonna go to that thing. Looks like it's dark. Things are far away. You gotta zoom. There's people in the crowd. I don't know what the hell. There's lights and lasers and shit. I don't. Protect your sensor with some lead or something. I don't know. 10 to 25. Like, that's not gonna be enough reach. If I know anything, you got bad seats because you cheaped out and you gotta zoom to hell on this singer who's like got curly hair and shit. It's like, I don't know, that ain't gonna be enough. If you're stuck in the GH7 for some reason, then yeah, those lenses are fantastic if you can even lift them. But like, Sony is so good in low light. 12,800 ISO, nobody knows the difference, and it's like, holy cow, mind blown. For much lighter and cheaper, put a little Tamron zoom on that thing, you're done. There's no 3D pop in your world, that's for sure. But like, low light? With Blackmagic joining the L-mount alliance, I have to think that Panasonic is working on adding B-RAW to their next line of cameras. You're dreaming. A hard dream. It would have already happened. How long have they been in business in this alliance? Why do you think the GH7 doesn't have it? You think it's, oh, we just haven't worked out the technical You haven't worked out how to shake hands with Blackmagic and say, hey, do you mind like exchanging some technology here? We take your B-RAW, you get IBIS. We'll help you with phase detect. That's not an alliance. They're just like, let's band together for no reason. Like, I don't know what that whole alliance even means. Just like they're sharing a mount, but nobody uses it properly. Maybe even adding it to a GH7 in firmware. For how much money? It's not going to be free, that's for damn sure. And it's not even going to exist. That's for even damner sure. Wishful thinking? Absolutely. Hope not. Because so many Lumix users also use Resolve these days. Also, hating winter living in Canada seems like bad parent. Shut your mouth. I want Blackmagic RAW in every camera. A lot of them do it to external recorders. Why is that? There has to be some type of licensing thing that Atomos Ninja recorders paid for it. So like they're using it. And so Sony can output Blackmagic RAW on some cameras using that device who paid for it. Sony's not going to pay for it. That's why it's not in time. That's a word. In time. In time. I basically said internal. You have to admit that. So most companies aren't going to do it, either because they're not allowed to do it or they refuse to pay for it. Nikon got around it with their own RAW, and now they have red. Why isn't that in my Z6 III? Go to burning hell. And Canon also does their own RAW that isn't even close to RAW, but it's fun. It's fine. I'm doing RAW right now. Is it RAW? I doubt it. But you're dreaming, homeboy. Thinking you're getting Blackmagic RAW in a Panasonic. It's the most obvious thing that should be happening, and we've all expected it for a while. It ain't coming though. I want it to be in there. Imagine Blackmagic RAW. I've never even shot with it. I imagine it's the best RAW ever. Blackmagic Color Science, my OG. You couldn't even compete. It's like, we want it, but like, don't even pretend it's coming, and don't buy things now expecting it to be added. I'll add your mom to my dinner date list of women. And for the last question here, nice job, CC. I'm curious, do you think the OM3 will have 4K 120p? Still have not leaked the specs on it. Just look and the possible name. What do you mean OM3 when the OM1 is what we're working on? Or do you mean OM1 Mark III? You specific sounding bitch. The OM1 Mark III might come, and it will be a firmware related thing, just like the Mark II was. There was nothing in that was different than the Mark I, because they're not in business. Why are we pretending that they actually make cameras now? How many people work at OM System? You can count them on one slimy, crooked-fingered hand. Definitely. Like there's not a whole team of people there. OM System is run by AI algorithms, the mafia, partly. This new vintage thing that's coming, OM1, old technology. They can make, like they have a 3D printer in the office. It's like they can make new designs, and they hired a monkey maybe. Just don't expect a whole heck of a lot new. Expect things like better weather sealing. Now you can dunk it under the ocean. Like that, I could see that company doing basic things like that. Like they also buy a weather sealing company or something. Like they're not going to make new tech with specs. 4K 120 is a joke. And I hope I'm wrong about all of that. I hope OM System, they start getting some good sales. They make money. They're funneling it back in, but they're clearly not. That company that bought them is known for just like squeezing everything they can out of it, not innovating anything, and then basically just tarnishing the name and disappearing forever. And Panasonic has a better chance, and a lot of you love them. I want to love them. I don't see their place in my universe right now. They offer me nothing that I don't already have. Where is it? Not seeing it, so do you agree or disagree? How dare you? Both. How dare you both? Either of those. From the video. Bitcoin gets replaced from your stupid wallet into mine, and you'll be subscribing. One more video?